Tell me, what is the best way to fight this narrative and fight these mandates that are coming up that are discriminatory and they are illogical to our society?
Definitely non-compliance with all of the mandates, the masks, the disclosure of your vaccine status, like whether or not you've taken it, whatever, that's up to you. But don't go along with the narrative and disclose what your personal medical information is in that regard, because that's what's keeping this thing going.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Show up. I think that's so important. We have to be present in everyday life and keep going to class, and I'm going to keep doing that. I didn't return to this class afterwards, and I mean, I spoke to the ombudsman, and she was no help, but she did say, you know, you would need remedial something or other in order to go back to class with this
Mm-hmm.
professor just because of that whole altercation. But yeah, we need to be present, and you need to be prepared for that confrontation, but it really doesn't happen as often as people think it does.
Yeah.
I haven't worn a mask in almost a year at this point, and I mean, I can count the amount of times I've had issues with not wearing a mask somewhere on one hand. So,
Yes, it doesn't happen very often. People don't deal with it because some people respect your privacy.
mm-hmm.
Yes, and what do you think about that? What do you think we should be doing against these mandates? What's the most effective way we could fight this?
I agree with Bethany. I think it you might think it's difficult to do because we're so used to it now, but I think more and more people need to open their eyes and realize that there's nothing actually like preventing me from just going into this store without a mask or riding the subway without a mask. And more, I think, yeah, just doing that will challenge the narrative because, you know, the laws and regulations can change however much, but I think it's the attitudes that people need to take going into this that need to change.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yes, that's right. So you mentioned that the way to fight these mandates and to get through this is non-compliance. And we've talked about what a good citizen would do if illogical or unlawful rules were to be imposed on them. They would absolutely ignore the rules and continue to do and live life the way they normally would. Like you would continue to go to class even though the policy says you're not permitted because that's the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're going to continue doing that all across Ontario. We're going to continue to do our non-compliance and be good citizens of this country and lead the way for others to join the cause and stand up to these mandates. So now that you're in the environment of free thought and freedom of expression and you're allowed to express your thoughts without getting attacked, what would you say to your peers who have sided with the professor and sided with the authority essentially? What would you tell your peers if you had their attention?
Well, I wish that I had their support because that would go a long ways in helping to lift these mandates, because I'm not the only person affected by this, and Marie is not the only person affected by this, and you aren't. And it's not just people who don't want to take the shot or can't wear masks or can't take the shot or whatever their reasons are. It's not just those people who are being affected. There is not one of those students in that class who has not been affected by the policies that have been implemented or just by the things that have happened in the past 2 years in general. Mm-hmm. You've all been affected by them, and so you should be doing something to get life back to normal. And that's why I'm doing this. It's not just for me, and it's not just for people in the same situation that I'm in. Mm-hmm. It's for everyone, because I want to see life go back to normal. And it would be a whole lot easier for that to happen if the resistance had the support of people who have taken the shot or who have complied up to now. They don't have to keep complying, and they don't have to side with the authority just because that's the easy route to go. Mm-hmm. Life isn't easy. So I think it's better if you realize that earlier on.